Coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, this is the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane, and Catherine Simaloy on Sign Language. Here are the highlights. Software developer Rose Njeri has been released today on a personal bond of 100,000 shillings. She had been held at Pangani Station for 4 days and now faces charges of unauthorized interference with computer systems.
Public participation can be achieved in very many ways. And what Rose has done is to bring it to the entire public.
Martha Karua, the leader of the People's Liberation Party, has strongly criticized Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, describing them as rogue states. This is after she was deported from Tanzania, while activists Boniface Mwangi and Uganda's Agatha Atuhaire were tortured and later dumped in their respective countries.
That my belief is that Kenya cooperated in our detention and deportation.
And 2 families in Elgeyo Marakwet County are in mourning after the bodies of their abducted loved ones were found, showing signs of brutal torture.
Na akachukuliwa that Friday. Tumepata hawa watu kwa mochari hapa.
All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for choosing us to inform you of what's happening across your world. We begin here. Activist and software developer Rose Njeri was released today on a personal bond of 100,000 shillings. Njeri, who had been detained at Pangani police station for 4 days, faces charges of unauthorized interference with computer systems after creating a website that enabled Kenyans to submit objections to the proposed 2025 finance bill. Her high-profile legal team argued that the charges against her lack a clear legal foundation and infringe upon her constitutional rights. The court has reserved its ruling for June the 20th. Sheila Chelangat reports.
Rose Njeri, software developer and activist, arrived to a fully packed to the brim courtroom ahead of her plea taking today, accused of creating and hosting a website that automatically generated and sent mass emails to the official email address of the National Assembly's Finance Committee, allegedly disrupting the normal functioning of parliamentary systems. With her high-profile legal team led by former Chief Justice David Maraga and Senior Counsel Kalonzo Musyoka, arguing that the charges violate her constitutional rights to freedom of expression and public participation.
And wondering whether Rose should be in the dock or should be somewhere where she's being celebrated for having done a wonderful job.
That charge is defective. And to the extent of its defect, our client should not be made or required to take plea.
Prosecution led by Principal Prosecutor Victor Owiti maintained that the charges are valid and that the issues raised by the defense should be addressed during trial, not at the preliminary stage.
Can that be perceived to amount to interference when Parliament has invited the members of the public to react to the finance bill?
The case has sparked debate, with activists calling for Njeri's unconditional release and criticizing the case as a crackdown on dissent and digital activism.
Because many people are unhappy, reject the finance bill 2025. It is her democratic right, our democratic right.
But for today, Njeri was released on a personal bond of 100,000 Kenyan shillings, with the next court date scheduled for June 20th, when the court shall then rule on whether Njeri will enter a plea and how the case will proceed. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, the precincts of the Milimani Anti-Corruption Court in Nairobi on Tuesday witnessed dramatic events following the arrest of 3 individuals alleged to be employees of Trans Nzoia County and aides to the governor, George Natembeya. They had come to attend the governor's court hearing. Linda Alela with the details of that drama.
3 individuals said to be employed by the Trans Nzoia County government, among them Natembeya's communication director, were arrested by plainclothed officers after Governor George Natembeya's hearing outside the Milimani Law Courts on Tuesday.
This is our country. We are not the Haggies. What are you doing? This is our country, Kenya.
The action sparked immediate protests from a group of lawyers and political leaders, including Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, former Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, Senator Dan Manzo, and prominent lawyer Njeri, who demanded explanation for the arrests.
We've seen what has happened today, a prosecution that has no evidence, that is set on a fishing expedition, that did a lot of drama raiding Governor Natembeya's homes in Kitale, in Nairobi, in Rongai. They brought him here and they have no evidence. They are now harassing anyone, whether family, whether politically associated, whether working with Governor Natembeya. We have seen them harassing people here who travel all the way. We are saying this harassment must stop.
I'm not happy with what is happening in the Republic of Kenya, especially with unlawful arrests, victimization, intimidations, harassments.
So some of these things we are going to be dealing with. We are very clear about it and we will not relent. Kenyans will not surrender. We've just seen one frustrated Kenyan here expressing his complete sense of despondency.
The arrests occurred shortly after Natembeya and his legal team exited the courtroom, where Justice Zipporah Gishana ordered the prosecution to disclose evidence against Governor Natembeya's charges of unlawful acquisition of public property, conflict of interest, and indirectly benefiting from public funds.
The court did give thorough directions on disclosure. It is clear that the prosecution has not been able to do so. Although they state that they were given an onerous task on the nature of the disclosure, it is imperative for all parties to ensure that they comply with orders as strictly as possible.
Directive following an admission by the prosecution of failing to abide by an earlier court order on the disclosure of evidence. The prosecution was ordered to disclose all relevant materials on or before June the 16th, when the matter will be mentioned. Linda Alela, TV47.
Now, 2 families from Elgeyo Marakwet County are grieving after the bodies of their relatives who were abducted by individuals believed to be police officers were found brutally tortured in Rongai, near the border of Nakuru and Baringo counties. The victims showed severe signs of torture, with some having their hands chopped off. Mike Chalo with the details.
The bodies of Simon Diego, a taxi operator, and Collins Kipyatich, aged 22, were discovered on Sunday after the 2 had been abducted on Friday in Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Vijana wetu waliweza kuwa abducted, tumewatafuta na mwishowe we have ended up in the mortuary.
Their bodies bearing clear signs of torture with both their hands chopped.
Mikono imekatwa na ni kama walinyongwa because ni kama wamekuwa strangled na kuna marks ya kuchapwa huku mkongo, tumbo na hata mikono na miguu, na ni kama miguu zilikuwa zimefungwa na kamba.
We were given the opportunity ya kufeel your meal and we identified kwamba ni hao watu wetu.
Simon Diego was reportedly stopped by an unmarked ambulance while transporting a female passenger before being bundled into the ambulance, with the abductors questioning them about the killing of Father Alois Bett before releasing the woman.
Kwa naelekea hospitali na wakasimamishwa na hiyo ambulance, watu ambaye wako armed wakashuka wakamtoa kwa probox yake na kuingiza yeye kwa hiyo ambulance. Kuna one passenger alikuwa kwa hiyo gari. Huyo ndio alikuja kutupatia hiyo report kwamba jamaa amechukuliwa. Huyu msichana anasema aliulizwa, do you know the people who killed the priest.
Meanwhile, 22-year-old Kipietich was seized while receiving treatment at Tot Health Center in Elgeyo Marakwet. And once again, the abductors used an ambulance during the abduction.
Alikuwa ameenda tu for malaria treatment. It was not an admission case. Alikuwa tu on medication ya malaria, na hiyo ambulance ikakuja wakamchukua tu na wakaenda nayo.
We are really saddened kama familia, and we really hope something will need to be done.
These developments just on 4 days after Deputy Inspector General of Police David Lagat vowed to bring the killers to book.
Mtupatie mwenye alipiga risasi father, na mnajua tupate leo, tupate kesho. Wase mmesema mnataka siku 3 kweli? Thursday it will not be business as usual.
Sasa watu wakikatwa hivi ya kinyama, haki inapatikana? Hiyo tena swali yetu kwa serikali.
Right, thank you Mike Chalo for preparing that story, and thank you Samira Mohammed for voicing it. In other news, family and friends gathered at Olesos Parish in Nandi County to lay to rest Father Alois Bett, the Catholic priest who was gunned down in Kerio Valley 2 weeks ago by unknown assailants. As Mudhoni Brenda reports, leaders from the Rift Valley region have collectively called for a speedy investigation into his death.
It was an emotional send-off in Olesos Parish as family, friends and faithfuls gathered to send off Father Alois Bett, the Catholic father who was gunned down in Kerio Valley in an incident that sent shockwaves across the country. Speaking during the burial, Kapsaret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi opined that the criminal activities in Kerio Valley started as petty crimes but have gradually become intolerable.
Wale watu tulipata ni wakora. Walikuwa baada wanaiba ng'ombe samani. Ikafika mali wakaanza kuua watu. Ikafika mali wakaanza kuua wamama. Ikafika mali wakaua watoto wadogo. Sasa imefika mahali wameua bishop, father.
Lauding the officers in Kerio Valley, Sudi explained that the killing of Father Alois Bett was a desperate move by the unknown assailants, as all their criminal activities had been brought down by the security agencies in the area.
Hii kuua Father Alois, sio waliua Father Alois kimakosa. Ni kwa sababu walikuwa wamekuwa cornered. Wamezuiwa kuiba ng'ombe, wamezuiwa kuumiza watu wale wengine. Sasa wakarudi sasa uchogozi.
This as Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei took a swipe at the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, castigating him for the lawlessness in his home turf.
It is very unfortunate that the person in charge of security, waziri anatoka pale Elgeyo Marakwet. Na they say charity begins at home. If you cannot fix the security from your home, how can you fix the security of the country?
Uasin Gishu Governor Jonathan B. called on the Inspector General of Police to investigate and bring the culprits to book, insisting that his death should not be
Ambia wasasi pole. Sijawahi kuona huzuni ambayo inafunika sura ya kila mtu. Na hata hapa leo unaona yenye inatandaa hapa ni huzuni.
Mudhoni Brenda for TV47.
In other news, the People's Liberation Party leader, Martha Karua, has condemned 3 East African countries, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, terming them rogue states. Speaking to the media on Tuesday afternoon, Karua blamed the leaders of these countries for neglecting the rights of their people. Her remarks come days after activists Boniface Mwangi of Kenya and Agatha Atuhaire of Uganda were reportedly humiliated and tortured by Tanzanian authorities. Joash Onsare with more.
Weeks after the deportation of Martha Karua from Tanzania and the detention of activists Boniface Mwangi of Kenya and Agatha Atuhaire of Uganda by Tanzania authorities, People's Liberation Party leader Martha Karua has termed Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania as rogue states.
I want to declare the 3 East African states, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, rogue states. And I want to say here categorically that my belief is that Kenya cooperated in our detention and deportation.
Karua, who addressed the media in Nairobi on Tuesday, called on the East African community leadership to launch an inquiry on cross-border abductions.
We, the People's Liberation Party, call on the Jumuiya to launch urgent inquiries into cross-border abductions, whether they hear or not, because the Jumuiya now has become the leaders.
In the same vein, the Law Society of Kenya LSK leadership has condemned the humiliation of the activists, urging the parliaments of Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda to collaborate in holding accountable the officers involved in the violation of human rights.
We are hoping that the interventions of the other governments within the regions and the petition to the East Africa Parliament can raise awareness and raise concerns that those officers who violated the rights of Boniface, Agatha, amongst others, can be brought to book.
We'll be suing in the African Court and on any other site possible internationally for these heinous crimes.
Currently, there are active cases before the East African Court addressing cross-border abductions and the mistreatment of individuals critical of governments in the region. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
A Nakuru court has granted the DCI permission to detain suspects linked to robbery, murder and gang violence for an additional 30 days to allow for further investigations. The suspects were arrested following a shootout with police officers on Sunday evening in Nakuru's Bondeni area. Samira Mohammed with the details.
As police escalate security operations in Nakuru County, following a surge in violent crimes linked to organized gangs, particularly in areas of Ronda, Kaptembwa and Bondeni. 5 suspects arrested on Monday in possession of an AK-47 following a shootout with police officers were Tuesday afternoon arraigned in court.
At least you can now speak in English.
Following an application filed by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the Nakuru court allowed the investigators to hold the suspects for 21 working days, pending investigations.
So for the 6th respondent, I will allow the application. The respondent will be detained as requested to help the officers to do their investigation. So we can come back for mention on which date.
On Monday, detectives arrested the 5 suspects and recovered an AK-47 rifle following intelligence-led raids conducted jointly by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Operation Action Team, Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau, and Nakuru County detectives.
At least you can now speak in English.
Meanwhile, Zakaria Wanjohi, husband and the main suspect in the death of 23-year-old Anne Wangari, whose body was found dumped at Technology Farm in Nakuru, was arraigned today before Principal Magistrate Vincent Bett as detectives sought permission to detain him for 21 days pending investigations. The court will rule out on the application for his detention tomorrow noon.
Ruling tomorrow at noon.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
The Deputy Registrar of the Kiambu High Court, Jacqueline Karani, has today dismissed the application for postponing the hearing of the murder case of Meru County blogger Daniel Muthiani, or aka Sniper. The prosecution lawyers say that they have some documents they are yet to be served with after the investigative piece was done by TV47 last night. Vincent Kirimi, aka Supu, Kenneth Murangiri, aka Tali, Boniface Kithinji, aka DJ Kaboom, and Christus Manyara, as well as Brian Mwenda, are the prime suspects in the murder of the blogger Daniel Muthiani, who, of course, went missing on December 2nd, 2023, and his body discovered dumped in the Mutonga River in Tharaka Nithi County on December 16th of 2023. The autopsy report showed that he died of strangulation.
It just has to balance.
on the 4th of when was this? February this year. We are now in June. And if it wasn't for the judge being sick, today the matter was going to be heard, and it has 3 days for hearing. I've not seen any letter from your side, Mr. Musyoka, any letter from your side, Mr. Mutuma, alleging that this matter has 3 days set for hearing. We do not wish to waste judicial time. We are writing to complain that we have not been supplied with all the prosecution documents. You're waiting to raise it on the day for hearing. Honestly, from where I am sitting, that does not sound very well.
All right. Tonight, the National Assembly has rejected a Senate amendment to increase the equitable share of revenue from 405 billion shillings to 465 billion shillings in the Division of Revenue Bill 2025. This comes after the Majority Leader, Kimani Ichung'wah, cited fiscal constraints, citing an increase in the allocation by 60 billion is not practical under the current economic conditions. Our senior political affairs reporter, Apollo Kamau, with the details.
The National Assembly and the Senate have once again locked horns on the perennial standoff on the equitable share of revenue to the counties after the National Assembly overruled their Senate counterparts by rejecting the Division of Revenue Bill 2025.
As members of the court of opinion say nay. Nay.
In the amended version of the bill, the Senate had proposed 465 billion shillings against the National Assembly's proposal of 45 billion shillings, an increase of 60 billion shillings, which was shot down by the National Assembly.
And bearing in mind the fiscal space that we have, Honourable Speaker, it may not be practical to increase by 60 billion shillings. I hear the member for Bumula saying we should be reducing, not increasing. Therefore, Honourable Speaker, having considered that, we thought it's only fair that we reject these amendments by the Senate to allow us to go into early mediation.
Bumula MP Jack Wamboka seconded the motion, terming the Senate proposal as unrealistic given the current economic climate.
It is only abnormal for anyone to think we should be increasing these monies upwards. So on this thing, Honourable Speaker, I beg to reject.
With the rejection of the bill by the National Assembly, the bill will now be referred to the Mediation Committee, which will strike a consensus on an agreeable figure to avoid disrupting the budget cycle.
Can I probably provide a way out?
In defense of the devolved units, senators had argued counties are under financial strain, pointing out delayed disbursements, ballooning wage bills, and other rising costs. Counties are, however, on the spot over their spending patterns, with some spending half of the equitable share on recurrent expenditure.
We sit in the Public Accounts Committee, and Honourable Speaker, some of those counties, if you hear the stories in those counties, you will see that there is absolutely no justification to add the money. My view has always been that at the advent of devolution, people thought that counties existed to serve their tribes, that this was our county.
During the Madaraka Day celebrations, ODM party leader Raila Odinga called for more allocations of funds to the counties for faster equal development across the country.
But I want to invite you, Your Excellency, to ensure that devolution works. Empower the devolution. Number one, by giving more resources coming down to the counties. Let the counties have sufficient resources so that they can be able to provide services to the people.
Odinga is also pushing for the National Government Constituency Development Fund to be managed by governors, a position that has put him on a collision course with members of the National Assembly. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right. Now, while addressing residents of Kiambu, Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua made it clear that his party will announce its stance on the Finance Bill 2025 in the coming days. Gachagua emphasized that the party is carefully reviewing the bill's provisions before making a formal declaration. His remarks come amid a growing opposition to the bill, with some critics arguing that it imposes additional financial burdens on citizens. Political leaders accompanying him also criticized the government for allegedly using intimidation tactics to silence dissent, referencing the recent arrest of software developer Rose Njeri, who was detained after creating a link to a site that flagged clauses in the finance bill that she said would lead to a rise in the cost of living.
Tumeweka wataalamu wetu wa hesabu na wa economy watuangalilie mambo ya finance bill pahali inafinya wa Kenya. Alafu mimi mwenyewe kwa niaba ya chama nitatangaza msimamo wetu. Mwaka wa 2024 nilimwambia William Ruto wa Kenya hawezi kubali finance bill. Akasema mimi ninachochea watu. Akasema mimi ninachochea Gen Z. Sisi kazi yetu ni kusikiza ground na kuambia serikali mambo ya ukweli. Kwa hivyo tukishakagua hiyo finance bill tutatangazia wananchi msimamo wetu kama chama na kama taifa. Tumekubaliana?
Mimi nimeona William Ruto ameanza kutisha wale watu ambao wanapinga finance bill yake. Mumeona ameshika msichana mdogo anaitwa Rose Njeri. Sisi tumesema kama chama cha DCP tunaenda kusoma hiyo finance bill, tukuje tuwaelezee ile mambo ameficha pale ndani, na kama ameongeza ushuru, sisi wote tunasema no to finance bill.
Na ndio maana tunaenda tukitetea wale ambao wanakamatwa, sababu tukiongea kidogo DCI ndio huyo. Leo amekamata msichana mdogo anaitwa Njeri, na Njeri anashikwa sababu ya kutuma email. Sasa hii serikali inaogopa mpaka email. Sasa kama inaogopa email, Nakuru je? Nakuru je?
Now, the former chair of the Parliamentary Budget Committee, MP Ndindi Nyoro, has issued a stern warning to the National Treasury over questionable borrowing practices, risky use of pension funds, and critical shortfalls in the national budget. Nyoro demanded transparency on the amount the country is borrowing, the interest rates, repayment periods, and the total cost by maturity. He also criticized the securitization of the government revenue, warning that it could cripple future administrations.
How much money are we borrowing? Secondly, what percent, that, for what duration? By the time of maturity, how much will we have paid for the entire amount? And then on that securitization, supposing now PS, when you are PS for the National Treasury, you came into your position and your predecessor had securitized all the revenues of government. And the other question on that, is this money debt? And if it is debt, is it in the books of government as a debt? If it's not a debt in your treatment, what would happen if a new CS for transport comes and issues a gazette notice that removes the 7 shillings? The fallback position is debt. And if it is guaranteed, is it in the government books? I saw there is an attempt to privatize some of the government assets, and especially Safaricom. I would want to know what is the timeline. The current trading, for example, for Safaricom, given a bear market, cannot be the right time for privatizing Safaricom. What is the valuation of Safaricom in terms of privatization? Are Kenyans getting value for money?
Right. Now, conservationists have raised concerns over the proposed Wildlife Bill 2025, terming it more focused on promoting a wildlife economy than on actual wildlife conservation. Speaking in Nairobi, conservationists led by Ruby Ahawa expressed concern over the proposed involvement of county governments in wildlife management, arguing that it would reduce equity in the distribution of national resources. Now, they also criticized the bill for proposing the creation of new wildlife institutions, saying it introduces overlapping roles that could lead to duplication and inefficiency. Another contentious provision is one that would allow the Kenya Wildlife Service to license mining activities within national parks, a move conservationists strongly opposed.
On wildlife economy, the bill introduces a significant shift in wildlife policy, which also expands permissible uses of wildlife to include both consumptive and non-consumptive utilization. This includes things like wildlife farming, harvesting from the wild, biotrade, and live sales. We're quite worried.
Wildlife bill at the moment is addressing that issue. It's not giving us progress in terms of making sure that the community have a sort of a relief. We want to see a situation where we are not just investing money in terms of paying the victims alone.
Splitting this organization, it means we are opening up a door of many issues. And we've seen in the draft bill here, their duties have been split. In fact, it's like killing the Kenya Wildlife Service soft. There's a song that we used to sing called Kill Me Soft.
All right, time now for a short break. We take a bit of a breather, but when we come back, we will have more content in that all-important conversation on the Finance Bill 2025 and particularly how it benefits or hurts you and I. We'll be right back.
Hey kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indemuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. Richard Bronson.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV47.
kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say
Right, time now for some business news, and President William Ruto has announced that 20% of all units under the affordable housing program will be reserved for Kenya's disciplined forces, namely the Kenya Defence Forces, the National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service, and the National Youth Service. According to the head of state, these officers will benefit from single-digit interest rates as low as 3% for the social housing. Currently, 2,300 housing units for police and prison officers are under construction across 15 counties, with the procurement for an additional 17,000 police units underway. For the KDF, 3,000 units are being built, 10,000 more have been approved to begin in June, and an additional 10,000 are planned. In total, 60,000 housing units are under construction in Nairobi out of a national target of 150,000.
Was born of an innovative memorandum of understanding between the Central Bank of Kenya and the National Police Service. Under this arrangement, CBK leased 4.1 acres of land from the National Police Service for 60 years to build this housing complex. In return, CBK committed to constructing the National Police Leadership Academy in Ngong, Kajiado County, a facility I had the honor of commissioning in December 2022, and which is now fully operational, training senior police officers.
This housing structure that you're opening today is giving dignity to the police force. People who we expect, they take care of our lives, they protect us, but we've never accorded them the kind of dignity that they deserve for the work that they do. I want to really congratulate the CBK and the whole fraternity of Treasury for giving back dignity to our police officers.
Now, Saccos are now re-engaging with retirees and the youth to expand their savings base. Harambee Sacco CEO Dr. George Ochiri emphasizes the importance of attracting younger demographics who represent a significant portion of the population by offering specialized products such as housing and loans to support their life goals. The Sacco is also developing investment-focused products tailored to youth needs beyond regular payslips, with the aim of retaining their substantial savings.
Representing my generation, who are the millennials, in terms of investment, I would really like to say that there has been the traditional way of investing in every other Sacco that we see around, in terms of like buying land, building, giving you loans to build and all that, which I don't dispute that is a very good kind of investment. But then the generation, there is a different generation in what we believe.
Very positive. We've grown our share capital to 3.8 billion. We are coming from as low as just 1 billion some 6 years ago. The other bit, which is also very interesting, there is institutional capital. We are currently at 9.2%, and that is about 2.8 billion. That is money that just belongs to Harambee Sacco. Even if all the members were to take their savings, there would still be a balance of 2.8 billion.
Family Bank is enhancing accessibility for SMEs, particularly small traders and wholesalers within the capital. The bank's CEO, Nancy Njeri, says that the relocation reflects the bank's commitment to supporting commercial growth for the 80% of Kenya's businesses classified as micro, small and medium enterprises. The new branch offers modern facilities and tailored financial solutions, including loans for women and youth-led businesses, alongside personalized financial guidance.
We have structured our bank to also concentrate on specific maybe sectors, what you're doing. Kama wholesaler is a whole area. Bestseller, we have products for bestseller. When you're importing your goods, if you are exporting also, we play in between.
We've been able to increase, we've been able to grow until it has come to a point where our customers have actually told us, no, I think when you grow, you need to expand. And that is why we've moved this branch here.
Ladies and gentlemen, passengers traveling on the Madaraka Day holiday received a special treat from Coca-Cola through its popular Share a Coke campaign. Travelers aboard Easy Coach buses and jumbo jet flights were delighted to be handed personalized Coke cans featuring their very own names, turning ordinary journeys into unforgettable moments. At Easy Coach stations, each passenger received 2 cans, one personalized with their name and another to share with a loved one upon arrival. The Share a Coke campaign, which celebrates Kenyan names on Coke cans, was relaunched in April of this year with the aim of sparking real connections across the country.
Maneno ya Coca-Cola kitambo, maneno ya mpira nini. Nimesikia poa kabisa. Hii nitafika nyumbani na nitaambia kila mtu Coca-Cola ni soda mzuri. Hata kila mtu atakuwa ananunua Coca-Cola. Hata mimi mwenyewe napenda Coca-Cola sana. Soda yangu tu inakuwa Coca-Cola.
My name is Unique. Mike.
I agree.
My name is Unique. I was like, wait, Rosemary Madowo. I feel special.
It was a nice feeling. It was a surprise, actually. Nothing that I had ever expected, but so nice, so good.
Coca-Cola reminds me of fun, happy times, and family time.
I'm traveling to Kisumu. It's nice being honored by Coca-Cola. This is the first time I'm getting a Coca-Cola can. So I really feel honored. Yeah, thank you, Coca-Cola.
Yes, when I drink Coca-Cola, I remember Rora shoes. Like recently, like right now, I remember my sister's Rora shoe.
Coca-Cola ni soda mzuri wakati hata nimechoka. And
I'm so excited about this offer that you have today. Just having your name branded on a bottle, it has never happened before. I love Coke. I remember my days of Coke when you were young, like 55 years ago. It was, we used to have those wooden crates with glass bottles. Yeah, but now I can see you have cans. Those days cans were very expensive, but now you've given us a can, branded our name. This is very special, and it's going to make our journey very interesting. And we feel that you really care about us and you personalized our names on a can. That is so big. Sometimes that is all someone needs, you know, to make your day. So thank you so much, and we are very grateful to Coca-Cola.
All right, East African Breweries PLC, or EABL, in partnership with USIU Africa, has celebrated the graduation of 25 students with disabilities from the inaugural Digibility program. Supported by a 6 million shilling grant from EABL, the 4-week marketing training initiative aims to bridge the digital divide. The program covered content creation, social media management, and digital analytics, culminating into real-world projects designed with accessibility in mind. Digibility also offers postgraduate mentorship, or rather post-graduation mentorship and internship opportunities.
There are opportunities to showcase what you can do, students. And also, if you've already been doing this, you are now given an opportunity to advance to the next level.
We believe in inclusion in Kenya breweries, and this goes beyond the classroom into the field. And across our value chain, we are working with over 1,500 farmers with disability, supporting them with tools, training, and access to markets.
Because technology has almost been equal to giving me sight itself. Whereas access to digital technology in Africa may be argued as a luxury, for many of us with disabilities, smart devices and inclusive tech have become an essential lifeline for us, proving to greatly enhance our move to self-efficacy.
That's it for business. Let's get sporty. All right, now with just 2 months to go until the African Nations Championships officially kicks off in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, the three host countries have intensified their preparations ahead of the highly anticipated tournament to ensure a flawless event. The countries have officially announced that plans are well underway to introduce a pamoja visa to facilitate easy travel for citizens of all three countries. The three ministries are also set to collaborate closely with various government agencies to establish a policy for tax exemption, allowing people traveling with equipment easier access to the host countries. Furthermore, the East African countries have vowed to work together financially to successfully execute the tournament, which is valued at approximately 5 billion Kenyan shillings.
We will be working with our other ministries in charge of immigration to ensure that we have a seamless visa entry requirements, but also we are discussing a pamoja visa, which will be very critical for the tournament. This tournament is that $9 million tournament for the three countries of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And we have agreed that jointly the technical team from CAF and from the three countries will be working together to look at the line items of the budget, and they will be convening on the 10th next week to ensure that they work on those issues, and then they report back to us.
Welcome Africa to Pamoja. When I talk about Pamoja, I mean Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Please come and witness, and I'm very sure it will be the best competition in the history of CHAN in Africa. So the rest of the world, welcome to East Africa, welcome to Pamoja.
Mashindano haya pamoja na yote imetusaidia nchi za Afrika Mashariki sasa kuja na miundombinu ya michezo, sports infrastructure na miundombinu ya michezo ya aina yake, ambayo ina maana CHAN ikiisha, AFCON ikiisha, bado tuna uwezo wa kufanya mashindano mengine mengi, yawe ya mpira, yawe ya riadha na mambo mengine.
Pamoja countries, they reaffirmed their commitment to deliver one of the best CHAN ever in this beautiful part of the continent. And President Motsepe also is committed to accompany the Pamoja country for this exercise to deliver the very good CHAN.
All right, and in a move to uphold the integrity of sports and reinforce Kenya's commitment to the global anti-doping agenda, the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya has announced the reinstatement of its national budget allocation for the 2024-2025 financial year. This financial year had seen a drastic reduction in funding, dropping to 20 million Kenya shillings, which threatened ADAC's operations and risked Kenya's compliance with the World Anti-Doping Code and related international standards. The World Anti-Doping Agency flagged this issue as a major concern during an in-person audit conducted, of course, last May, and issued corrective actions related to the impact of budget cuts.
Most of them are on the presence of prohibited substances. Very few of them on evading and refusal. And we had about 4 cases on whereabouts failures, which we have since concluded. We've noted that the number of whereabouts failures for Kenyan athletes has actually gone down. There's a time this was a big problem for most of our Kenyan athletes, even the elite athletes.
The word a call that anti-doping effort within any jurisdiction should focus not just on one federation, but on all other federations. And that is why, like we have said, that during the in-person audit, WADA raised a major concern about our inability to cover the rest of the disciplines in Kenya. And therefore, the reinstated budget is a boost for us, because then we are able to reach out to all the federations and have a continued sustained engagement in terms of implementation of our programs.
Athletics Integrity Unit, and one of the requirements was that between September last year, 2024, to May this year, 24th of May, all athletes who will be eligible to participate in the World Championships coming up in.
All right, Krish Beju Shah has emerged as the overall winner of the 4th edition of the NCBA Faldo Junior Tour Championship, of course held at the Vetlab Sports Club. Krish capitalized on his home course advantage with an outstanding performance, maintaining the lead throughout the tournament. He shot a level par 72 in the first round, 3 over par in the second, and an impressive 2 under par in the final round, finishing with a total score of 1 over par, 217 gross. Hazel Kuria of Muthaiga Golf Club maintained her lead in the girls under 21 category with a total of 244 gross. Yuvraj Rajput from Sigona won the boys under 16 category with a total of 227 gross. And the girls under 16 title went to Kanana Mudhomi of Windsor Golf Club, who finished with 238 gross. Krish, Hazel, Yuvraj and Kanana have qualified for the coveted spots at the Faldo Junior Tour European Grand Final, to be held at the Al Ain Equestrian Shooting and Golf Club in the United Arab Emirates this November. There, they will compete with the world's best juniors and receive top golf coaching from the golf legend Sir Nick Faldo.
My favorite part was when I finished, because, well, there was a lot of pressure like during the entire round, including like the 3 days. I wanted to play all my rounds in the 70s, low as possible.
This tournament means a lot, as it gives us Kenyans exposure to play in other tournaments like in Dubai at a higher level than tournaments are here in Kenya. So it's good that Kenyans are given a chance to go play abroad.
Faldo is normally played in Karen, so I had that mindset going into the tournament, and I had to switch it because it's a completely different course. But yeah, I tried to stay as focused as I could be. I'm happy I qualified, but it's kind of motivation for me to do better next time. I'm not really willing to change anything. I want to go into it with the same expectation, the same no expectations I go into every tournament, making sure that I'm preparing the exact same way, but also being aware of the conditions that might be played in Dubai. So yeah.
Right, and still on matters golf, Njoroge Kibugu returned a flawless scorecard, shooting an 8 under par 64 to set an early marker on the opening day of the Thicker Greens Golf Resort leg of the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing. Kibugu carded 8 birdies on holes 1, 4, 6, 9, 11, 12 and 18, giving him a 4-stroke lead over the chasing pack. The nearest competition was Karen Country Club's Edwin Mudanyi, who finished with a score of 4 under par 68. Mudanyi sits 1 stroke ahead of Kenya's elite amateur Michael Karanga, who carded 3 under par 69 to finish 3rd. A 5-way tie for 4th includes Tanzania's Abdallah Dula, Uganda's Ronald Rugumayo, Kenya's Dismas Indiza, Daniel Nduva and Simon Ngige, all finishing at 2 under par 70.
Fantastic. Came in with no expectations and got onto the first hole, and my putter got off to a hot start. I had 24 putts today, which really helped a lot.
To say my round today was good,
everything was working for me, despite 2 bogeys that I made some few holes. And the course is in good shape, and hope to go deep tomorrow.
Through for us pros in the region, in the East African region. When you look the previous years, we haven't been playing enough golf. We haven't been playing to most people's expectations when it comes to big events like Kenya Open. It's basically because we haven't been playing enough. I just call upon all the pros in the region to take advantage of this tour.
Right, time now for a short break, and when we come back, we have that all-important conversation on the Finance Bill 2025 on the People's Court. Please don't go away.
Hey kids and families, get ready for the most fun